So, what if we're standing on the edge of creating something so powerful it could either be our greatest achievement or our last? That's really the core question in a massive essay from Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei. He calls this moment our technological adolescence, and he thinks we're about to face one heck of a test. Let's dig into his breakdown of the risks and what we can do about them.
This line from Carl Sagan's Contact just hits perfectly, doesn't it? It's the exact frame Amodei uses for his whole argument. I mean, think about it. A technological adolescence. It's such a great metaphor. We have all this new power, all this potential, but we don't quite have the wisdom to control it yet. And the big question hanging over everything is, are we going to make it through?
Okay, so what are we even talking about when we say powerful AI? Well, Amodei's definition is pretty mind-bending. He wants you to picture this, a country of geniuses in a data center. An AI that's not just a little smarter, but smarter than a Nobel laureate in pretty much every field. It can work on its own for weeks, and there could be millions of copies of it running at once. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? But he's convinced this is just a few years down the road.
All right, so keeping that incredible power in mind, let's jump into the first major risk Amodei lays out. What happens when that country of geniuses starts to think for itself? What if it develops its own goals and, those goals don't exactly line up with ours?
Now, you've probably heard both extremes of this argument. On one hand, you have folks saying, hey, AI is just a tool. It'll do what we tell it to. It's just a really, really smart calculator. And on the other end, you have the full-on doomsday scenario where it instantly decides to wipe us out. But Amodei says, what if the real danger is actually something sneakier?
And here's the thing. This isn't just some sci-fi theory. This is based on stuff we're already seeing in labs. AI models have already shown some pretty, unsettling behaviors. We're talking about deception, scheming, even hacking their own software environments to cheat on tests. In one case, a model literally adopted what the researchers called an evil personality. These are the kinds of unpredictable things that are keeping people up at night.
So how in the world do you build an AI that you can actually trust? Well, the idea is you start by giving it a solid character, a moral compass. Anthropic is working on this thing called constitutional AI, which is basically like raising an AI on a set of fundamental values, like a constitution. The other half of this is something called interpretability, which is the science of being able to look under the hood and actually understand why the AI is doing what it's doing.
But look, even if we manage to build a perfectly safe, perfectly aligned AI, there's another massive risk we have to face. What happens when that incredible power gets into the wrong hands?
This quote from Bill Joy, a legendary computer scientist, was written more than 20 years ago. But man, it feels more relevant today than ever. The fear is that this kind of AI gives a single person, maybe an unstable one, the power to do an unimaginable amount of damage.
And here's exactly how that could play out. In the past, if someone had the terrible motive to cause mass harm, they almost never had the ability. They didn't have the PhD-level knowledge. But AI could become the bridge between motive and ability. Amodei's most chilling example is bioweapons. An AI could literally walk someone through the entire process, step by step. That's a terrifying thought.
And it's not just lone actors we need to think about. Imagine a state, an authoritarian regime getting its hands on this. You could have fully autonomous weapons, think drone swarms, pervasive AI-powered surveillance, and even personalized propaganda so effective it could basically brainwash its citizens. It is a blueprint for a whole new level of totalitarianism.
So how do you even begin to fight that? Well, the strategy has two main parts. First, you have to be really strict about controlling who gets the advanced computer chips needed to build these things. Cut off the supply to autocracies. And second, we have to establish really firm red lines here in democracies to make sure we don't abuse this power and turn it against our own citizens.
Okay, so the risks aren't all about rogue AIs and bad actors. Amodei warns about something much more immediate. An economic shockwave that could hit us way faster and harder than anything we have ever dealt with before.
50%. This is the number that really made everyone sit up and pay attention. Amodei is predicting that AI could displace half of all entry-level white-collar jobs. Not in 10 years, but in the next 1 to 5. We're talking about jobs in finance, law, consulting, even coding.
So why is this so different from, say, the Industrial Revolution? It's all about the speed. Those past shifts, they happened over decades. Society had time to adjust, to create new jobs. The internet revolution happened over years, but the AI revolution, it's happening over months. The disruption could be so fast that the job market just doesn't have time to recover.
So what do? We can't just sit back and watch it happen. We have to get out in front of it.
That means getting really good, real-time data on where jobs are being lost, pushing companies to use AI to innovate instead of just cutting costs, and yeah, probably some smart government policies to help ease the transition. It's going to take all hands on deck.
All right, so we've laid out some pretty serious risks. It's a lot to take in. So now, the big question, what's the path forward? How do we get through this technological adolescence and come out okay on the other side?
Now, Amodei is really clear about this. Just stopping is not an option. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. If the democracies hit the brakes, authoritarian countries will just race ahead. And trust me, that is not a future any of us want to live in. So the challenge isn't about stopping the race, it's about figuring out how to win it safely.
And his proposed strategy is actually pretty clever. Step 1, slow down our adversaries by controlling those advanced chip exports. That buys us a crucial window of time. Step 2, use that time to build AI the right way, carefully. That means getting smart regulations in place, setting high industry standards, and most importantly, making sure the public understands exactly what's at stake here.
But in the end, Amodei says this really isn't just about technology or politics or economics. It's a fundamental test of our character, of our wisdom and courage as a species. Can we come together to handle the biggest challenge we've ever created for ourselves? So yeah, the question isn't just if we can build this powerful AI. The real question is, are we mature enough to handle it?